All right, Dad, we're live. Derrick?
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Who says I'm alive?
I do.
Just because we're on the air doesn't make us alive.
That's true, yeah. So, yeah, we're doing a live stream. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And just real quick, I just let everyone know it is live. We're going to try not to swear or anything because it's a clean channel.
That's right.
We've got
and we are sophisticated talkers.
Only
That's
the
right,
best
yeah.
here. Shakespearean English. That's all.
Right.
But, right.
So,
But just be aware, the people that are listening, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, it is live. You know, I don't know. The house could fall apart and we might have some choice words about it.
That's
you know,
right.
Anything could happen. So Dad, of course, is here. Derrick is here.
Happy to be here.
We've got Josh Lewis back there.
Hey, everybody.
DJ in the system. You can check out his podcast. What's it called again?
Letters from Camp
That's
Blood.
right. I always know it as the Friday the 13th podcast, but I forget what you call it.
That's the closest thing you can get to it, really.
letters from where?
Camp Blood.
Camp Blood.
It's the Friday the 13th podcast.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so here we are. It's live now.
Well, yeah, so we've got actually. Does that mean we have to say something intelligent for a change?
No. They don't want. They
Okay,
they
I don't want
expect
that
us to
pressure
not-
on me.
Okay.
Yeah, they expect
I don't
us-
mind being live. I just don't want to have to be smart.
Yeah, exactly.
I can handle being live.
Yeah. Did you? Were you able to pull it up on YouTube and see it?
Yeah, we're rolling on YouTube.
All right, sweet.
Oh man,
All right.
what's YouTube?
What do you think of that Uzi over there,
I'll
Derrick?
tell you what, you'll have to excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, if I keep picking up this gun from time to time.
Yeah.
I keep molesting his gun.
Yeah.
Uzi,
Yeah, without the barrel in it.
without the barrel, yes. Yes, I did notice there was nothing sticking out the end. I did notice that. But I keep wanting to say hello to my little. I keep wanting to do that.
That's the wrong gun though.
That's
He
right,
had
I know.
a M16 with a grenade launcher.
That's right.
That's a California compliant Uzi.
Yeah.
No barrel. New Jersey compliant.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's modest kind.
Yeah.
Doesn't get upset. But great gun here, by God, and don't fire it one-handed.
Yeah.
That is a movie myth. I keep wanting to talk directly into the microphone, but I have to look away to do that. Don't fire. We talked about that before you guys came on. Do not try to fire it one-handed, like Schwarzenegger did in the first Terminator.
Yeah.
Looks cool. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not do it.
That thing could rise on you much quicker than you think.
What's the rate of fire on this thing? Anybody know?
The mini Uzi is it's like 900 to 1,000, something like that.
Yeah. Of course, that one's semi-automatic, but
Right.
yeah.
I was noticing the sights too. I pointed out that I love the fact that the Uzi has sights. Not that you ever use them, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's an Uzi. Who uses sights? But
Yeah.
it looks good. It looks good.
Well, surprisingly, you of course had an Uzi.
Yeah.
When did you get the Uzi originally? That you had like mid 80s, right?
About 84, something like that.
84. And,
Yeah.
and I remember you telling me that you were just impressed by how you could hit stuff.
Yeah, with a
With
full-size Uzi, pull out the stock, and you could actually hit things with it. It's fairly accurate. And, well, even after I had it converted, you put it on semi-auto and open up the stock, and you could pop pretty well. It's amazing. Even with a open bolt, because every time you pull the trigger, it's not just a firing pin being released, it's that big massive bolt falling.
Yeah.
It still was I thought pretty accurate for that.
Yeah, and that's always a hurdle of those open bolt guns, but there's something kind of neat about it too.
Yeah.
Feeling
Yeah,
that
it is.
giant chunk of steel
Yeah.
coming forward as you're
I
firing
think
it.
this thing kind of hard to aim though. It takes a lot of practice, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Aim this thing because it's
Hard to do any precision shooting.
yeah.
with.
Right, and that's not what it's for, of course. It's
no.
like
no, it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
You think?
no.
yeah, there's no Uzi snipers out there.
Yeah.
This is a absolute problem solver, right?
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, I'm sure you break out an Uzi. Okay, I'm done. I'll put your stuff down, back away,
Yeah.
calmly. Yes.
Yeah.
So, it feels great though.
Close quarters problems.
Right.
Feels great though. Oh,
Yeah, and the Uzis, of course, are like the a Cadillac compared to the Max series guns.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, those things they're neat because with this crazy like machine gun bands and all this kind of stuff, it makes anything full auto kind of special because it's rare and everything. But if it wasn't for that, they'd be like high points.
Oh, I know. You're right, because it looks like somebody stamped them out in their garage.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Ingrams and Mac 10s or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a box with a bolt.
Yeah.
Like the Uzi, like they tried to put a little style at least in the Uzi. you
I
know?
mean, it's
Yeah.
got that definite Israeli Middle Eastern feel to it. And,
Right.
They made it famous. Great
Oh,
gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a mistake that comes with it.
There really is.
Oh yeah, and but it does still take skill to use.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna spray and pray, which you shouldn't do, by the way. Boys and girls, do not spray and pray. That's bad.
Yeah.
So, but it does take practice.
Yeah. And what do they call on the side of the Uzi where it has those? What do you call those? Like the raised area? I know that's supposed to add strength, right, to the receiver.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well. I can't think of what it's called. You know, in a lot of your stamped firearms and stamped anything. With those little ridges, it makes it stronger,
right?
Sturdier, and they do that in the firearms, lots of firearms, and in anything that's stamped. And there's nothing wrong with sheet metal in a firearm, generally speaking. You know, the AK, is stamped. A lot of them are like that. In fact, they meant for the originals to be stamped, and they had trouble making them that way. They ended up milling them because they didn't have the machinery, as I understand, and the welding technology of the time to actually make stamped AKs. And then once they got all that in place later, they did stamp them and plenty strong. And then they would put some of those ridges in them too,
right? Just
to make it more rigid. Yeah, that's what it does, I think.
Right, and the receiver doesn't necessarily have to be as strong as other parts of the gun. I mean,
it's like a Mossberg shotgun or a Benelli. People complain about the alloy, receiver sometimes, and the alloy receiver really doesn't matter that much because your bolt is locking up into the steel of the barrel,
right?
Receiver and chamber and all that. It's steel on steel for the most part.
Right. The receiver is really just to keep the barrel and the stock together.
Yeah, really.
And the action. Everything.
So let the other steel parts work together. Is about all it is.
Right. Exactly.
And I feel like this is a straight up Price is Right. I can expect you guys are talking about the gun. I'm like, Mom.
That's right. Like, you're the model. You're the Vanna White over there.
I'm waiting for somebody. You guys should have like a little panel here. Okay, $6.92. No.
Oh man, there should be a gun Price is Right.
Oh yeah,
that would be great.
It's an idea, dude. Gold and sweet.
That would be good. Yeah, and here's a box of silver tips have ammo. How much does this ammo do you think sell for? How much would this magazine to an AKM sell for?
Yeah, really. That would be actually really cool.
Great, cool. Hey, somebody's gonna steal that idea.
Yeah, they probably are.
Next week there'll be a show on.
Yeah.
Somebody besides Bob Barker.
Yeah.
Isn't he the one that had their show, The Price is Right?
He's still with us?
I'm not sure. That goes way back. Yeah. There's probably been 3 different hosts since then.
Yeah.
No, what's his name? He's
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's right.
Is Bob Barker still alive? Do you know, Josh?
I'm pretty sure he's still alive. He did something for charity not too long ago. I saw just in my Facebook feed.
Yeah.
That hair was pretty white last time I saw him. He was up there.
Yeah. He's like 90 years old, probably.
Yeah.
You make me look young.
He's gonna be like what was the guy we were talking about the other day that smoked a cigar every day and lived to be 100?
Oh yeah, George Burns.
George Burns.
Yeah. What was that quote you were telling me of his? He said,
well, he used to talk about how his people would ask him because he'd smoke a cigar, at least a cigar every day, and or he always had a cigar, I think. But and someone asked him, "What's your doctor say about you smoking those cigars?" He said, nothing. He's dead. He outlived his doctor who didn't smoke cigars.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's the thing. You never know what if you spend your whole life trying to avoid every little thing that could potentially cause some kind of harm to you health-wise. It's just, I don't know.
You got to go either way pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to be the prettiest corpse in the funeral.
Yeah.
Looks great. He's dead, but he looks great.
Yeah, exactly.
He never did anything.
Yeah, because you hear stories about people that treat themselves like crap, and then they live to be 90, and then people who like that Bill Hicks used to have a joke about it that was it Jim Fix or whatever, that health nut or whatever that died of a heart attack.
There's been you can't cheat nature. I mean, it's going to catch up with you no matter what you do eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Although you can feel better. I think if you're relatively
that's the big thing.
careful.
I think. Yeah,
a quality of life. I mean, fitness is good, taking care of yourself is good, but there's also quality of life because I feel great. I run 15 miles a day, but I'm depressed.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because when you eat like a lot of sugary food or just bad food, you just don't feel as good.
Yeah.
And then if you do that all the time, you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
if you don't ever exercise, you get kind of used to it, but you still don't feel as good as you do if you're exercising a little bit and you're eating good food.
Yeah, exactly. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's all about taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, no one else will.
No.
Yeah, that's true. They should.
They should. That's right. That's right.
If you pay them enough, they'll cut on you, though. I think that happened a couple of times lately. Take out body parts that need to be removed.
Oh, that's right. You had gallbladder surgery.
Yeah, I had gallbladder surgery this summer and a hernia later. And I who rarely have health problems and have hardly ever been in a hospital since I was like 5 years old to have my tonsils out. And that was not because they were causing a problem. I just grew up in a day when that's just what you did. You know, if you sneezed, they had to rush you to the hospital to get tonsils out. You know? Doctor needs to buy a new car. But I accused the surgeons at Vanderbilt of selling body parts, because every time I went in there, they cut me open and took something out.
That's right.
No, that's China.
Oh, okay, China.
You can buy. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not joking. Unfortunately,
really, on eBay.
You need
my gallbladder's on eBay. I bet. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not a joke. You go to China. You got the money. You need a gallbladder, a liver, a lung. Oh, what's your blood type? Okay, go back there. They don't
like an official market. It's not like
because they don't believe their idea. We got 1.2 billion people. Their attitude about prisoners and incarceration is not the same as ours. From what I understand, they do that all the time. If you got the cash.
No, where are you talking about? I missed it.
China.
Okay.
China.
Okay.
Their attitude about incarcerating prisoners is a lot different.
Yeah.
If you need a lung, a heart, a liver, okay. What's your blood type? And this much.
Where they go down through the jail, the prison?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
But
wow. Yeah, you're sitting in the jail cell. Every time you hear somebody, the warden walk down the aisle, whoa, not me, man. I want all my body parts.
What's your blood? I forgot.
What about brain transplants? You reckon they?
I forgot. Wait for that day to come.
You just become a different person. It's like, I have a totally different opinion about everything, but I feel great.
Would you speak Chinese? I guess you would.
Good question.
Make it easier to learn, at least.
Yeah, it's like that movie, The Island. You ever seen that?
Yeah, with what's her name?
Yeah, what's her name's in it?
Yeah, you know her.
We always remember the women, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Scarlett Johansson.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And the other guy, the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan. Steve Buscemi pops up in there.
What a combination!
Yeah, man, that guy is something.
Yeah, it's a cool. Well.
Evan McGregor.
Yeah,
somebody knows his first name.
Yeah, that's right. I guess it's a spoiler, so spoiler alert.
Okay.
If you're planning on watching that movie, are you going to watch that movie?
I might.
Okay.
Don't spoil it for me.
It's a good movie, but it has to do with that. Anyways, never mind. How's the hey Josh? Are people commenting on the audio? Does it sound okay?
Yeah. The audio was a little bit low. Now it's fine. It just depends on the person as of right now.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed on live streams. People argue with each other.
Yeah. So it's low. It's fine. Derrick, I think that you could actually move the mic up just a little bit to yourself, and that would probably help out.
Okay. How's that?
That's probably good.
All right, I'm going to freeze just like this. All right? Not going to move. I'll make sure everybody hears me. All right?
Yeah. Josh, are they commenting on how intelligent I sound?
Every bit of it.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure they were recognizing genius when they hear it, see it.
Mostly talk about Thompson submachine guns, 1911s, and how intelligent you sound, and low audio.
All right.
Okay, well, there's something I wanted to bring up. We talked about this earlier. I actually called you after I saw it. I wanted to bring it up on the next podcast. So I was in line at Best Buy, actually buying some stuff, to make this happen, this live stream happen. And there was a guy in the checkout lane. There was like 2 or 3 people in front of me. This big guy with a beard, about your age probably. With a big beard, had a T-shirt on his back, only on his back.
That's right.
He was wearing a T-shirt that said, "Don't ban guns, ban idiots." Fine, I agree with that.
Okay, all right.
I agree with that. But he was carrying 3 guns open. He had a handgun on each side, and then he had a big revolver. It looked like a Smith & Wesson 686 stuck in his back, and it was in like some cheap Uncle Mike's holster, and it was about to fall out.
Okay.
Which, something I've noticed is it seems like open carriers tend to favor really cheap holsters. I've noticed that.
I've noticed that.
At least in places where people don't normally open carry.
Okay.
And here's the thing: part of me wants to be like, yeah, that's right. show those people like all the good stuff about guns, but I don't think that helps when people do that.
You got to be the good representative. Remember, when you're out there carrying a weapon, you're not only representing yourself, you're representing every gun carrier out there, and you got to be responsible. And part of that is proper holster.
Yeah, it was obvious he was making a statement.
Yeah,
that's why he's there. He's wearing the pro gun shirt. He's got 3 guns. He's trying to make a statement. Is it a good one? I don't know. I mean, his heart is in the right place.
It's like the guy that walked down the street.
I don't think he's making a very good statement for the cause, especially carrying 3 guns.
Yeah,
now, if he's carrying 1,
right? That's
maybe it's all right. I could argue either side of the open carry to some extent.
Right.
By and large, personally, I think concealed is more effective. If you're just a regular citizen.
Yeah.
But to carry 3 guns open, it's usually big old guns.
Exactly.
Open,
they were.
and 3 of them.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I mean, and so easily. I mean, I remember the holster on his back. I remember studying because I could see it the best. It was like an Uncle Mike's, those kind of holes made out of like nylon or something.
Oh, okay.
And it just had one retention, just a snap. I mean, it's so easy to snatch it from him. And
God forbid there's an incident.
That's just not good. And of course, there was a Metro police officer was there. Someone, of course, called, and everything. And again, that cop could have been out probably doing something a lot more useful.
Yeah.
And I don't blame. I mean, it sounds hypocritical, but I don't necessarily blame someone for calling the police. It's clear
on that guy, maybe
because on that guy specifically. And I don't mean
3 guns. Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying open carry in general. I mean this guy specifically, just the way he looked, the way he was dressed, and the fact that he had the 3 guns. It was very clear that it wasn't just like, this is just my everyday carry,
3 guns.
It was a statement. He was trying to make.
He was trying to get attention, and he got it.
When you're out there, you got to project responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. And people were, they were making fun of him and stuff, and so badly. I wanted to be like, we're not all like this.
Well, that's the thing. No matter what you think about it. It definitely does not represent the firearms community well.
No,
brought on all that negative attention.
Yeah,
3 guns. Who carries 3 guns like that? Big old guns. And at Best Buy, it'd be one thing if it was a Second Amendment rally, or some kind of thing, or it was a day. I wouldn't have any problem with that if we had a day we set aside to I don't know, just to show support for the Second Amendment, and it was an open carry kind of day. And look, come down to Legislative Plaza or wherever you go on October the 3rd. If you've got a carry permit, or if you don't, or as long as it's legal, carry 2 or 3 guns, and the word is really out there. That's what we're going to do. We've got T-shirts with NRA on it. Do all that stuff because we want to really show people how many gun owners there are and how many people carry. If it was some kind of project like that, it'd be different. But just walking around Best Buy, regular guy, 3 guns, that's a little over the edge.
Yeah. Best Buy in Baghdad, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need them there. But.
Well, the problem is that it alienates people we're trying to convert.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
You can't make people feel uncomfortable.
The soccer mom, to overuse that term, but people walk around, they're not sure what they think about guns.
Yeah.
And, they don't even know that we're carrying guns. But they see this guy, whoa, it looks scary, and got her 10-year-old daughter with her. And
like, is this my future if I buy a gun?
Right.
Am I going to be this guy?
You can't be a stereotype. Do not be a stereotype.
Right.
Yeah, because they're usually negative for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's just
it is because again, I'd probably sit down and agree with that guy. Maybe a lot of things, at least about guns, and stuff, but. It's just, I don't know, like I said, it doesn't help, and the people were kind of laughing and kind of making a joke out of it and stuff, and again, it's just, you could tell that it wasn't getting through to anybody. I mean, what gets through to people is, people who just seem like normal people otherwise, and then you find out that they have guns or that they carry a gun or something.
And that's the way 99% of people are. It's just the way it is. We run into people, all my life I've run into people. You're even 20, 30, 40 years ago, you're at a Christmas party, maybe with a friend or a spouse or whatever, and you get to talk people you don't even know, and you just get to talking about things. Before you know it, firearms will come up, and especially in today's world, there'll be 3, 4 people there that have carry permits, and they'll want to talk about firearms. Not because Hickok45. I mean, just right. Anybody. You just get talking about things. You know how it goes, and you get talking about firearms, and there's usually some kindred spirits there, and they're just normal people. They might work security, do things like you do, and they may be more into firearms, or they may carry them open and they're like what you're doing and stuff. But generally, they're just regular citizens that happen to carry a firearm. It's like you happen to carry a pocket knife or your wallet.
Yeah. That being said, it'd be kind of cool if it, was like in some ways the Old West. You could just pack a gun around and everybody did it, so it wasn't like a big thing. Yeah. But it's not that way. A lot of people don't want to carry a gun, and for good reason.
There's a lot of responsibility,
right,
to carrying a weapon. Exactly. Yeah. And if you project anything besides an air of responsibility, that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, in my opinion, tactically, if someone does come in there, 4 or 5 outlaws come into Best Buy and they're going to shoot up the place and rob it, and they see me they're going to shoot me first.
Yeah.
If they know.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's why, whether it was totally accepted culturally or not, I probably would still just carry concealed.
Yeah. It's the best way. Listen to me sit here. I'm sitting here open carry.
Well,
yes,
you just got back from work.
Concealed is the best spot. It's the best route to go.
I just joined the Armed Citizen Defense Network, whatever, and some wonderful tapes and DVDs come with that, and the people on the board of directors there, like Moss Ayub and John Farnham and all that. I guess it was John Farnham that as he was discussing guns and carrying guns and different things, and he's one of the noted authorities on the planet, of course, and he's a big old guy, and he's one of those people you wouldn't want to meet in an alley or meet anywhere as an adversary, a gun carrier. I think he might have been the one who started the single stack 1911 competition. I mean, he's like a Ayub and a lot of Cooper and all those guys that know this stuff. Anyway, he talked about how, what's he call it? He's a big old guy. He said, you want to be inconspicuous as a gun carrier as much as possible. And he goes into a really long discussion on that. It's how you don't want to stand out at all.
Exactly.
Like the gray man concept. Exactly. Not like Gray's the aliens.
Exactly what he is a huge advocate of. Advocate of. And, of course, what you're talking about is just kind of the other extreme of that.
Exactly. The whole gray man thing, I think, is a cool – I guess it's been around a long time. I didn't know about it until recently. But it's like – with a lot of tactical gear, like Maxpedition bags and things like that. Sometimes they'll I've got some because I like it. They're like green and stuff, and they just look military. Like it's probably a gun in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they also make some tactical bags that are kind of in the gray man category, or like different like clothing or apparel that fits in that category, where it's supposed to just look normal, but it's also.
And that's what I like. I've not heard that phrase before, the gray man, but that makes so much sense. Of course, it's hard when you're 6'8" to be inconspicuous, but that's the concept. I've always kind of lived by that.
Tell that story about when you used to wear that photographer's vest all the time.
Yeah. Well,
that.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of us quit wearing those because that doesn't put you in the category of a gray man in a lot of ways, at least to knowledgeable gun carriers. But you mean about the shooter?
Yeah.
I was wearing. I used to always wear a, not always, but I when I first started carrying, this was back in actually the early '90s. I'd wear a photographer's vest, Banana Republic, and they're great, for concealment. They don't get you overheated if it's summertime or whatever. Lots of pockets, and they're a dream. Well, it wasn't long after people began to realize more and more people were wearing those that carried guns, and so the word was sort of out there that you're a gun carrier. But anyway, before that, I would wear those a lot, and I still would if I wanted to. But I was in a bicycle shop getting my bicycle repaired in Nashville one day, and I had the vest on and talking bikes with the guy, real nice young fellow, mechanic, and worked there, and so I'm paying for my service on my bicycle, and the guy just looks at me. He says, "You're a shooter, huh?" And my first reaction was, "Oh, okay, I've been busted." Yeah. And so I said, "Yeah, I am. I shoot a lot, And he said, "Yeah, that's cool. I noticed your vest and everything." So it was funny with this exchange back and forth. And he said, "What camera are you using?" Oh, well, I've got a Minolta, but yeah. He was talking about a photographer. It was funny, But vests are great. I hope they make a comeback.
I know. I almost wanted to like those motorcycle vests.
Yeah.
You know, just wear one of those around. But the problem is you look like you're trying to be some, Billy bad. I won't say the
of course now,
but biker guys.
Okay,
well, that's a good topic. It's just how to carry, because it's especially concealed. There's so many ways to carry, and then the seasons and what you're wearing. It is a problem. So it would be nice if there were women. I always say have the advantage, even though a lot of experts advise not to carry off your person. But at least if you're female, you can get by with carrying a really nice carry purse if you want. Carry any size firearm you want. And there's some great purses, quote unquote, out there if you've seen those. But we guys, we need it on our belt or it's hard to hide. Fanny pack. And I've got a couple nice fanny waist packs, John. Waist packs.
Waist pack, okay.
And they're making a comeback.
Okay.
And,
I was almost.
I've got a nice one. I wear it sometimes.
Yeah, I'm almost convinced, but it's just I can't quite pull the trigger on it.
Don't worry about it. Gun people typically don't worry about what people think anyway. So just take the next step and get you a fanny pack.
I thought appendix carry was the way to go. You see these guys carrying appendix.
It's great until you sit down.
Problem.
Then you have
Besides that,
it just motivates you to stand up more. I guess.
Well, you say, I'll sit down. Nah, I'm fine. I'll stand.
Yeah. Well, I've got that. I'm going to do a video on this channel, Day and Sun channel. That it's the Urban Carry 2. It's called, and as you've seen their ads, they've been aggressive with their marketing. They sent me one. It's this holster that's designed where it's like think of like a big leather flap, basically.
Yeah.
It's got the magnet.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and I've shown it to you.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's they're advertising pretty aggressively.
Yeah,
right?
it's interesting, and I'll make a video on it. But kind of like I've kind of tried it some, and I don't really use it much. And part of that, it's like it's a really cool idea, and the idea is like you can appendix carry. The gun rides below your belt, so when you sit down, it just kind of sits almost like it's in your pocket.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen those.
Which it does do that for the most part. You can still kind of feel it, and it's a little weird. But one of the problems with it, I think, is that the little magnetic piece that folds over your belt, where the clip is, it's really thick. Mm-hmm. So like you've got this thing. It's obviously sticking out there on your shirt.
I was about to ask about accessibility.
Yeah, and I mean, pretty much you grab it and pull it up, and then
you just need to have a long T-shirt, or your shirt needs to cover it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the shirt covering is not hard. It's just that it sticks through the shirt.
Oh, it sticks through the shirt.
Right, but it's like
it prints.
Right, but it's a shape like this. It doesn't look at all like a gun.
Okay.
But if you're familiar with those holsters, you know that they have it. And then also it's kind of like, well, what's that?
Okay.
Okay.
So
you need to hang a cell phone carrier over it, or
yeah. I wish there was a way. Yeah. I mean, it would be better if there's some way they could make that part of it thinner, like where it clips and everything. Yeah. It would be a better holster. It's a great idea, but I don't know if it's quite there yet. I don't know. Yeah.
Concealed carry also goes to what kind of gun you're carrying.
Right, that's
like a full size 1911. No,
you're right.
It's sacrilege for me to say that, but no.
Tough.
Commander. At least, like I carry, or one of those subcompacts.
Oh, like with even the shorter grip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So something like that. It's got to be concealable. If you're going to carry concealed, the weapon has to be concealable.
Yeah.
Right. You can't have a Colt Python in your pocket.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you should get.
Well, here it comes.
They make this thing. I'm going to buy one eventually. I just keep forgetting to look one up on. I guess I could get one off of Buds or something. Buy one there, but Browning makes a 1911 that it's not a shorter 1911. It's literally a scaled down 1911. So it looks just like a full size 1911, but it's just been scaled down to where it's a smaller handgun.
Okay.
It's chambered in 380.
Those are nice.
Okay.
It's really cool because it's like a mini 1911. The 380 kind of looks like a mini 45. It's really neat.
So,
I'm gonna get one.
I've heard about that weapons like that in chamber for what 38 super 380 super 9 mil, which is a little bit sacrilegious again.
Yeah.
A 1911 and 9 mil. I can't touch that. My hands would burn. But okay.
Yeah. They're neat though. I like 9 mil and 1911. It's pretty good.
They're fun to shoot. Yeah, I didn't unplug my thing, did I? You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I thought I unplugged something there.
Yeah. There are interesting comments coming in.
There are.
We don't want to hear them.
Some of them you might. People are asking. Nope, it's back.
Oh,
All of
okay.
a sudden, we lost everything.
Okay, not good.
Yeah, it's
Did
back
it?
now. And that was
Okay.
just, honestly, as soon as I asked, okay.
Okay, the stream went down for a
Could
second.
probably take a
Stream.
couple of intelligent questions if you want to, John.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Hey, I meant to ask you. So the
Make
blue,
sure the stream.
we've
is
got that flashing
back.
blue light right on the recorder box.
Yeah, the flashing
Okay.
blue lights
Ladies
going.
and gentlemen, don't
yeah.
mind Big John's technical jargon here. The flashing blue light.
Uh-oh, flashing blue light.
I think we lost the live stream, though.
Oh, the live stream went down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to figure out how to bring that back up.
That little green button.
Yeah, I took that down just to. I don't know why I took it down, but I did.
Okay.
Hold on.
Or we're still going to post it, right?
Oh,
You're gonna
yeah,
post the whole
yeah.
thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it didn't die just right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked about the blue light. The flashing blue light.
Oh, the flashing blue light is just fine.
It's still flat. Okay, all right. Whew. Okay, all right.
So the same people that have been watching and listening are still out there. It's just that
Yeah,
Yeah.
now
they're seeing
just,
this later, a few days later. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, most people.
So how do we talk about that? What
Live
tips?
stream, 2-day delay. Okay.
Sorry we lost you all a couple of days ago, folks. But now that you're back, but we're not live now. Okay.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, most of the people that will listen to this show, it will be
Right, it'd be after the fact.
Okay.
like on iTunes and all that.
Okay,
so.
all right. The kind of live stream. Okay.
Yeah,
It's sort of live.
that's right. That's why like on Joe Rogan's podcast, he does the live stream. He doesn't even have the comments enabled, and stuff because it's like the people who are watching that show, like 90% of them, it's later and
Right.
and you get to answer all the comments.
Yeah.
It gets weird and everything. So.
Right, and that's true with any kind of talk show. It's dare I say quality, but the quality of the show is based on what's going on in the show, and if there's a couple of interesting questions, but you don't want to just I've seen a lot of talk shows and listened to a lot of talk shows over the years, and the ones where they're trying to answer everybody's questions.
Oh yeah,
that becomes like some little local flea market on the radio type thing, and most people don't even care.
Yeah, the live stream thing is I consider it kind of added value, and I'm sure there'll be. Every step that I've taken on this show, there's always been some kind of issue with it for a little while, and before I get it figured out.
That's true.
That's just kind of how it goes, But
Still striving for perfection, right?
That's right, always perfection.
Like Glock, still striving for perfection.
That's right. That's one thing. Of course, I know you're not a big Glock guy, but
not at all. But it's a good gun. I wouldn't take anything from it.
See, I respect your opinion because you at least will admit that they are high quality guns.
It is.
They're just not something that you enjoy.
For the
Right.
being fair and balanced, because that's what we do here. A Glock it's the best gun for the money. It is the
I would
best gun
say
for the money.
I would say it's the best gun in its category, maybe regardless of the money.
The best is a Sig
You think?
P226, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, see, I like Glocks better than Sigs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, see, that's the thing. I know that's the thing. So many people. I understand people don't like Glock because Sigs feel better to some people. M&Ps feel better, and they shoot them better, and they all shoot great. But one thing that you're not a Glock hater. You're just not particularly fun. But a lot of Glock haters, and a lot of people are brand new to firearms. They have this impression that, well, for one thing, the more money you pay for a pistol, the better it's going to be, and that's not necessarily the case. Yeah. And they have this idea that, a Sig, for example, or some of the others that cost more are better firearms. I'll sometimes comment. I'll say, well, yeah, there are a lot of great ones. You see me shoot the Sig 226 and the M&Ps, and they shoot great. I shoot them fine, but I still choose Glock. And there's so many people who could say and would say the same thing I say, who are as experienced shooters or more experienced shooters than I am, who would say, look, I can buy any gun I want, and I buy a Glock 19 or a Glock 23. That's the difference. Yeah. I've been in a lot of shooting matches too, and a lot of people in stock class, limited, where you're shooting the gun you carry, and people, they'll sell their car to get the best gun, to shoot in a shooting match. They want to do as well as they can, and they end up with a Glock. So it really doesn't come down to price as much as it's just preference, really.
Yeah. True.
Although it is not as expensive as a SIG.
Because when you get to a certain, money,
you're paying $500, $600,
you can make a good gun for $400 or $500.
Yeah.
Like the SIGs, maybe there's some more engineering goes into them, and where they're like the single action, but that costs more.
Well, they do some things that cost more, like I think the alloy frame and everything that most of them have. It's still lightweight, but it's more. It'd be more expensive to make than like a polymer frame.
Right, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like more reliable. But you might shoot it better, or maybe you don't, or what.
My comment on the SIG bin, better. It was solely based.
We jumped all over Derrick. Derrick says, "Sorry, back off, guys."
It's solely based on it's the weapon of choice for Navy SEALs, U.S. Army Ranger, and Delta. It's not. I'll be the first to tell you, a Glock looks better aesthetically. It looks better. A SIG is kind of blocky and chunky, thick, but it works.
It does.
It works.
I love them.
I mean, hey.
But now the SEALs have gone to the Glock 19, haven't they?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. The biggest thing about SIGs that I have a beef with, that I don't like about them, is the slide is kind of tall, so the recoil wants to flip a little more. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my big thing on it.
But. And I can't go anywhere near claiming to be an expert because I don't shoot enough. Unfortunately, I don't shoot enough.
But that SIG 320. Thing. That's their striker fired SIG, and it comes in all various sizes. Now that thing, I like it. I shoot it well and feels good. And that thing is taking the world by storm.
Yeah, that's a great gun. I really like that a lot.
I can't believe the biggest thing I can't believe about the SIG is Swiss made. The Swiss.
Yeah.
Come on, the Swiss. Okay.
It seems like it'd be German.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Austrians make the Glock, which again, kind of sort of German. Yeah. I guess. Hey, hey.
There's some great guns made around the world, no doubt about it.
But I'll say it again: the first time they make a Glock with an external safety, I'll have one.
Yeah. I was thinking, don't they make a Glock with an external safety?
I'm thinking they do. Yeah, that you can. It's not easily you can't just go order one. I'm thinking
they can have one installed or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's a kit for that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me head down to the gun store.
I don't know.
Carry it with a trigger lock.
There you go.
Get my key out.
Take it off. Keep the key in it.
Keep it in my shirt pocket like Barney.
Yeah. There you go.
That's right.
Yeah. Just keep it unloaded. Just load it real quick. Wow. Yeah. Gosh.
Oh man. Yeah. What if Andy Griffith had taken place in 2016? Barney had when he had like a magazine with one bullet in it in his pocket. How would that have worked?
He carry a Glock now. I mean, okay, he carry a Glock.
Yeah.
But
life was so simple back then. Revolver. As far as firearms, revolver. It's funny now that those you watch those old TV shows or cop shows or whatever, read stories or gun magazines from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. It's interesting. The mindset was so different because a 38 special round nose lead bullet at the time, not many people. I mean, think about it. If you were living in 1940 and you were looking for a firearm, or maybe even if you're a cop or something, and they handed you that, you didn't look at that and think, "Oh my God, what a puny little gun! This thing is worthless.
This is all we get."
Yeah, round nose bullet and no hollow points, and it's a 30. You didn't really. Yeah, it wasn't a part of your mindset really much. Now you might have preferred a 44 or something, but I mean, cops carried those, and there wasn't a lot of talk about them being pathetic. Well, Jim Cirillo was a New York cop and all those stakeouts. I think that's what he used. 38 special, wasn't it?
It's what you're used to. Yeah, it's what you're used to. What you're proficient with. Yeah.
And he shot. I mean, he was in gunfights and all those market robberies, and ended up taking out a lot of bad guys with exactly that. But now when we look at it, compare with a 40 or a 45 semi-automatic, reliable handgun, we tend to think of being really like you don't have a gun if you've got 38 special round those bullets in it.
Well, you got to be, you got to stay up. It's like most people have higher capacity handguns now. So you feel like you got to have one.
It still comes down to the human body has not changed. Though,
yes, exactly.
Back then in the 30s, though, most policemen had to buy their own weapon.
Yeah.
So the 38 special was affordable. It was affordable too.
That's true too. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the gangsters back then,
Yeah,
Bonnie
they
and
had
Clyde
better-
types,
Yeah.
they had state of the art. The
That's right.
1911. Thank you.
Well, because
right.
they stole their guns from the military.
From the armory, they cut down BAR, full size BAR.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh yeah. So your average cop from out in the country somewhere who had to buy his own weapon, which was usually the 38 revolver,
That's
Yeah.
right.
he's gonna go up against a BAR.
Yeah,
yeah,
which,
really.
there's a new gangster movie coming out.
Ben Affleck, yeah.
Yeah, what's it called? Something by night, Live by Night. Is that it?
I know Ben Affleck
something.
and
It's coming out soon too. I
and
think.
Yeah.
what's her name is in it? Yeah, you know her.
What's it? Yeah, she was in the island. Right?
That's right.
Is she hot?
The girl who played
Yeah, I think
the female in Avatar. What's her name?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, her. Yeah.
yeah.
This tall. Yeah, her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Derrick has a perfect mental image of her. You can
Yeah.
tell.
You see their Facebook. What's her name?
Yeah. She played the giant woman in Avatar.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I can't place her. Place her though.
She looks different in Avatar though.
Does she?
Than she does. in
Yeah,
other
she's
movies.
blue. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and
she's
you don't
blue.
see her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, great movie. He's
It looks
firing a
cool.
BAR. It looks
Yeah,
great.
in a hallway, just cuts loose
It
with
just
it.
opens up in a hallway. Hey, there's 4 people down there. Who cares? Opens up.
Man,
Yeah.
that's coming out. I think next week.
I saw. I think like everybody else did. What's that movie for Christmas that you see every year? It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I watched that.
And when what's his name? The
Jimmy
star?
Stewart?
Jimmy Stewart is running away from the cop.
Yeah,
And the thing that just stood out to me, especially looking back now, is that he's in the bar and they try to arrest him. And he gets away from the cop. The cop just pulls out, tries to hit him over the head first.
yeah.
Didn't try to, didn't spray him, didn't
Yeah.
try to cuff him, just pull out his gun and tries to hit him across the head.
Yeah, yeah.
With it. And then Jimmy Stewart runs and the cop pulls out the gun and just starts blasting the
Yeah, I know.
city street. People everywhere.
I know. That's
I know this is 1940, but come on.
that's right. And that was back when they would actually shoot at a fleeing felon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things have changed slightly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, really. I don't care who you are, what kind of cop you are. You don't shoot at somebody running away unless they just massacred 5 people. Or something,
Yeah, really.
I mean, oh.
Well, one of my friends from high school, his dad, one time back in the 70s, was fleeing the cops.
Yeah.
And the cops shot at his car and a bullet went through the back windshield, like from a movie. or something, you know? Yeah.
That
Yeah,
stuff.
I
does
can
not-
sort of remember when that was a controversial idea. Maybe I was a teenager in my early 20s or something when that transition took place.
Yeah.
Where they said that.
Maybe we shouldn't shoot.
Yeah, it
everything
was
that moves.
discussed in the news, or and politically, it was discussed about whether or not to shoot at fleeing felons. I mean, now it seems absurd, doesn't it?
It's a liability thing now.
Yeah.
It's a liability thing. It's not that they're that concerned about the fleeing felon. It's that your rounds might hit some bystander.
Well, that's a big factor. And,
Yeah.
and again, it would depend.
You don't know-
Back then, they might have just like robbed the market.
Yeah.
I think it might even been. Maybe it wasn't even an armed robbery, and
Yeah,
I think they had license to just shoot at them.
yeah, it was just, you ran. Oh, yeah. That's why I shot you.
Or they just try to pull a guy over, and they
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah.
So
and nowadays they don't even pursue a lot of times.
it's again back to liability because
Yeah.
some departments have been held liable if your officers engage in a chase and due to them chasing the felon, someone else has an accident. They can try to hold the police department liable for chasing him.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with, but it's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Chasing by car or shooting at
Yeah,
them. Either
you
one.
can't endanger the public
Yeah.
to apprehend somebody, which
Right.
I do see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Is the live stream back up or?
No, I can't figure it out.
Okay, well, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go back there and see if I can.
We'll do a
man.
pregnant pause for about what? 5 hours?
Well, we can talk about westerns. Derrick knows about westerns.
Oh
right?
heck yeah!
I was watching this morning. It reminded me when you were talking about the slinging bullets or something, shooting fast.
Yeah.
It reminded me. I was watching a western. You probably noticed this as being a western aficionado at times. Yeah, western. What was it was a series. Wasn't Gunsmoke. I think it was Laramie. I was watching.
Whoa,
I get that on the Western
Oh,
Channel.
Oh yeah,
Anyway, they're all packing Colt single actions. Okay.
of course.
Well, and you may have noticed this in some westerns and old westerns especially. See, yeah, it was Laramie because I can't think of his the main character.
Yeah.
He bursts into a room, and somebody shoots at him from a back room and all that kind of. So he ducks down behind a chair, and they have a little shootout activity going on there. But when he pulls out his gun, and they gave a close up of it, he put in black and white. But he pulls out his gun, and he, as he's coming into the room, it's like the one deals where he needs to shoot, goes bam, bam, and that guy shoots at him and all that. And I think bam, he shoots again. Well, as the camera pans in on him. And all he carries is a Colt single action. You can see it clearly. That's his gun, of course, that everybody carries in that show. Well, I looked at it, and I stopped it even because it got the DVR. And it's clearly a double action 38, looks like maybe. But it's a double action. It's not one of the old 1878 45 double actions, anything like that looks kind of like a Peacemaker. But it's literally a 38 special double action modern revolver.
And this is supposed to be, 1871?
Yeah. Well, so they switched it when he burst into the room, and he was actually shooting. And then they shot a few more shots. It was that same double action. And plus, he was shooting so fast, he couldn't have done that with a single action. And I have noticed that was really clear, and I was able to stop and get a good look at it. And I have seen that and noticed that in other Westerns. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before, where you think they're all carrying these single action Colts, and especially if it's a female, sometimes a smaller hand, or a guy with a smaller hand. I'll look at, that guy looks like a 38 special, it really is. And I just kind of conjecture that it's so they can shoot it more easily, and they can shoot it faster.
True, and also
and they think you won't notice.
Well, some of these guns are so close, like the old Colts.
Like you or I would notice that.
Yeah. But your average person's like, it's close enough. Hey, he's just shooting. Yeah. They don't worry about what.
That's right.
Like example.
And it looks like the gun he just had in his holster. And
example, True Grit, my favorite, with John Wayne. Not that new one they made in 2013.
Oh, yeah, one of mine too.
True Grit, the only movie that John Wayne won an Oscar for. That Winchester he had was a model 1892.
Oh yeah, it always is.
And the time the movie took place in supposedly 1873. So
that's right.
The gun he had didn't actually come into being for 20 years after he existed. But hey, it was a great movie. Hey.
I know. Yeah, yeah. We have to forgive some of that, but you're right. The 1892 is the most popular lever gun in westerns.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I don't know.
And hardly any of them take place in 1892. I mean, the West was almost not as wild by then.
I mean, it was pretty much over. The old West was pretty much over by 1890. But that's all you see in the movies, though. Except the new one, the Magnificent Seven.
Oh yeah.
They got the guns right.
That's true. And you see that. Ironically, some of the newer westerns are more accurate when they come, like Silverado or Tombstone and some of those. And I think part of the reason is this newer spate of westerns that's all say from whatever 1990 on or 80s, late 80s or whatever you want to look at. There are more replicas out there. All the replicas for all these guns have been being made, so they don't have to go back and try to find antiques.
And people can fact check them now. People will point out and point, hey, that gun wasn't made till 20 years after this movie was.
That's right.
That's true, man. Old westerns were the worst about putting the wrong guns in there.
They just knew they could get by with murder with that.
Yeah.
Part of it is cowboy action shooting too.
True.
There are more people, and maybe video games. More people are more familiar with those guns and what they ought to be carrying.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was like a time. It was like a I don't know, like a Renaissance period for guns in a way, because you had so many innovative designs coming out in such a short period of time that it's not like if you're just making a movie that takes place in the 70s. I mean, there's so many different guns or whatever. But in the cowboy days, you think of you picture certain guns in your mind when you think of the Western days, and you don't necessarily think like, oh, that gun didn't even exist until 1873 or 1886, or 1892, that's the big one, is the 1892 Winchester.
Which is, I don't know how many, I was asking your dad, I don't know how many of them were made. The 1892. That's all you ever see.
It's but as far as a million or more, 2 million or something.
As far as 1892 is sort of toward the end of the Western era.
Exactly. Well, the 73s.
That's the one that 73s. Most of the movies should have.
True.
Exactly.
The government handing them out to the Native Americans too. Yeah. Here you go.
That's right.
Oh, what a life! Here you go.
And the 1873 was made from 1873 until I think it was in like 1920s or something. That same gun was being made. I think part of it in Hollywood, they need a firearm, first of all, that will, of course, now they do it a little bit differently with CGI and all that. But for most of the movies we're talking about, they're using blanks.
Yeah.
And I think a 92 is just such a durable firearm, and they could make blanks to fit the caliber more easily than maybe the.
What caliber was that anyway?
Well, it was like a 3220 and 4440 and 2 or 3 others, I forget. But I think even if it wasn't, even if they could have modified another firearm or whatever, they just chose the 92 because there were a lot of them around.
Yeah.
When those movies were made.
Accessible, yeah.
And so, once someone developed a bunch of blanks, and that rifle, it's so durable, it's hard to hurt it.
Well, they built the stuff to last back then. Yeah,
and they're throwing them around in the movies, and it just lasts forever. All the blanks it fits, so they just go. And it's a lever gun. Who's going to notice?
Which I gotta ask. That piece of movie history when John Wayne's charging Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
And he's got the range in his teeth.
Yeah.
He fires the single action, and he flip cocks his 92.
Like Chuck Connor.
Was that was that a modification? Was that usual? I mean, did you send off to get that modification to your weapon, or was that
the large loop or
the large loop?
Yeah, I don't think that was a part of the Old West.
Okay,
that was John Wayne sort of invented the large loop.
Oh, that looked great though. It looked great.
And Chuck Connors. You know?
Oh my God, that looked great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's a classic scene.
Dude, that's my image of the West.
Yeah, I know.
It happened, but it looks great.
You never know. Someone could have made that.
Well, yeah. Someone in the day might have done something
in the
like
remake.
that.
In the remake, what's his name? You remember him? What's his name?
Yeah.
Jeff
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges,
who had the patch on the wrong side. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Only a real movie guy knows that. He went after him with the old 1848 Navy Colts.
Yeah, Navy Colts.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they didn't.
Or the 1851 Navy Colts.
51 Navy Colts. And he shot it out with those guys. I guess he didn't want to. You can't. You're not the Duke.
Yeah,
you're not the
right.
Duke. I mean, so I guess look, I'm not going to be John Wayne, so I'm going to make my own imprint.
Yeah, doing a remake of a John Wayne movie that's
risky.
Pretty risky.
Yeah, because everybody thinks that John Wayne was better, and he was.
Yeah, I thought I was disappointed in the remake of it. I thought some of it was good. The look, a lot of and of course just the modern technology. There's a lot to be said that was positive, but then the acting was the weirdest thing, ironically, and there's some great actors in it.
Something stale about the acting.
But there was something fake about it. Matt Damon is one of the best actors in Hollywood, period. Jeff Bridges is good. All the people were good. The young lady was good. But there was something about it, John and I have talked about this, how some reasons we didn't like it. It wasn't just because it wasn't John Wayne. It was all a little stilted and stiff. It was like they tried to, okay, we got this movie. It'll take us 6 months to film it, but guess what? We need to do it in 3 weeks. It was kind of like that or something, wasn't it?
I think they stuck closer to the book. But the actors didn't necessarily pull off the language was different back then.
They didn't pull it off. Yeah. Matt Damon, he's usually excellent at that kind of thing.
I think maybe some of it they were overdoing, like the
overacting or something.
Yeah, overdoing the trying to talk like how someone would in the West.
In the 19th century,
Where like in the older Westerns, people just kind of talk to that's going to be harder, I think, as time goes on. Modern actors trying to talk like someone from 100 or 200 years ago, because it's like people talk a lot different now with all different slang and social media and all this kind of stuff.
Like trying to talk Shakespeare's English now.
Right, exactly. But like in the 1960s, it's like that people talk that different from, I don't know.
And maybe that's part of the problem with Matt Damon. He is so good at assuming any role, and
he's from Boston.
He just was kind of out of his element, just trying to be a regular guy or something. I don't know.
Yeah. You keep expecting Jason Bourne, 226, and start shooting bad guys.
It was like he was trying to, like you say, he was trying to affect some accent or be a kind of a special kind of character that didn't come off or something. I don't know.
Glenn Campbell, where he's wasn't necessarily an actor, he did a great job.
I thought he did,
And that movie is so iconic that we can't really see anybody else in those roles except the people. Kim Darby, I bet you think I knew her name. Kim Darby, right. Glenn Campbell, and John Wayne. We can't really see anybody else doing that movie.
I think that was just in general a bad choice of a reboot.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. It was.
Like You know what? Let's see. Let's reboot a movie. I know a John Wayne movie.
That's right.
Where he got an Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, come on.
As a little aside, one of my students auditioned for that part of Maddie Ross.
Oh, okay.
And I thought she had been perfect. In fact, I think she's the one who, that's how I found out that it was even going to exist. You know, the remake was going to happen because she was in 7th grade and she was, talking about it, and she had to be gone 1 week or something like that. She didn't get it. She didn't make it even near I thought she'd been great. Yeah. As it turned out, it would have been a better movie with her. But
a little bit long too.
Yeah.
They were a little bit long. No offense.
And it ended kind of on a down note, like the original. Like it ended very cool, where they're at the cemetery and
he jumps the 3-rail fence, and just like you to get a tall horse. I've seen it that many times. Yeah.
But it was just like I don't know, it had such a fitting end, But then the new one, it's like she lost her arm,
and he's dead. They go to the funeral. He was a vagrant.
Now she's real sad.
Now I'm bummed out from seeing this. But when the Duke did it, he jumped that 3-year-old fence. Come see an old man sometime. He jumped that fence. I'm like, let's go. Get out your single arm reaction. Let's open carry.
Those John Wayne movies are great. You probably have the same problem I have. I've seen all of them so many times over the years. Grew up watching them with my dad, and I've watched them. I probably got them all on DVD somewhere.
VHS.
It's VHS too. I was always a
reel
Laserdisc. No, what's the other VHS versus
Blu-ray?
Beta.
Beta, yeah. The always Beta guy, yeah. I still got my Beta player. That it's if I'm going to watch a Western, like on a Saturday, so I'm going to, from the collection. Of course, they have the Westerns channel and all that, but I rarely pull out a John Wayne movie. I've seen them so much, and I don't know.
There's always time for a John Wayne movie.
Yeah, I know.
Fort Apache, the Horse Soldiers. Oh.
That's good.
God.
They wear some of them out on the TV runs of the networks, like the Western Channel the same way. They'll get like the Horse Soldiers is playing this month, and every time you check what's on, the Horse Soldiers,
Yeah.
I'll be looking for something to record, and sometimes it'll be a late one at night running, and I'll see what's going to run if I want to record it. It's that same movie for 3 months.
Wait, Stagecoach was his first movie, right?
Right, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think so. He played Ringo.
Yeah. Stagecoach was his first movie.
Now that's a good one.
Hardly ever comes off.
Yeah,
I know.
He hit the ground running though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Hey.
He was good.
Now that one, for some reason, I could watch that one. Tonight.
They made a remake in the '60s. With Bing Crosby.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna have to pull your listeners. I don't think most of them know who Bing Crosby is. That's an old guy thing.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah.
And Slim Pickens.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
I think Slim Pickens and what's her name? Redheaded girl from the '60s. Yeah, you know her.
Rita Hayworth.
40s, '60s.
Anne
Margaret.
Oh yeah. How could I forget Anne Margaret?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, really.
It was pretty good, but again, it's once you get an image of your mind, what the movie's supposed to be like, you're not gonna really appreciate anybody else in it.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite John Wayne movies has always been. I want to watch it again. It's been a while. It's Big Jake.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's a cool one. It takes place like in the early 1900s. Remember those guys have the cars, and he's
really.
He's not hearing it,
And he's got the Mauser C96.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you. One of our viewers that lives in Middle Tennessee wrote a couple days ago. He's got a Mauser C96.
Oh,
he
really?
Said, glad to let us borrow.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So I saved the information.
The broom handle, like
that's old school.
It's a gun that the Han Solo gun was based on.
Oh, by the way, those were real guns in Star Wars.
Yeah,
I know we hit on that before, but they were.
Yeah, there's a Mauser. I think where the stormtroopers' guns were Mausers.
No,
cut down.
The stormtroopers, the little submachine gun. Those were Sterling 80s, a British submachine, submachine gun.
Sten guns. Okay.
In the first Star Wars, which episode 4 for all you Star Wars geeks like me out there, those were British Sterling S80s. Those are actual British submachine guns.
And did you know that the Jawas, the dudes that like collect up all the robots, the guns that they had were this gun right here, an Enfield. An old one, you could tell that had been cut down, and they put this weird thing on the end of it.
Can I butt in about that? That wasn't the Jawas. That was the Sand People.
Oh, sand people. All right.
That's right.
No, not the sand people. No, I'm talking about the Jawas. Remember they shoot R2D2 with the thing?
Yeah, and then they just like hold up the gun. That's sand people, I'm pretty sure.
Sand people.
No,
the
they
Jawas were the things with the goggle eyes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's the guns
the
they
Jawas.
had.
Okay.
They had guns too. They had,
I didn't even notice that. I just noticed the sand people, whenever they went by, they just held them up and made that weird noise.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
yeah, okay. You took down a robot. Okay, dude. Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay.
No, there's because I watched it recently in A New Hope. Whenever they I can't remember if he actually shoots R2D2 with it or not, but there's a scene where it's when R2D2 gets shot with something and
He tases him.
He gets tased. You can see one of the Jawas has this gun, and it's actually, for people who play video games, it's actually in a video game called Star Wars Battlefront.
That'd be me. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see that it's an old infield that's been cut down. They cut the stock off. You just basically just see the action, and then they put some big thing on the end of it.
Huh.
So apparently, these guns have been traveled through space. And everything.
That's right.
Yeah, like the stormtrooper walks through the what's the name of the village in Tatooine before that the hangar where the Millennium Falcon was. I'm sure one of your fans.
Sure,
the stormtroopers carrying a MG-34.
Oh, that's
Full
right.
size
Oh,
MG.
wow.
Only thing missing was the belt ammunition across. I'm like, hey, at the time when I was a kid, I was like, cool gun. Now I'm like, German World War II machine gun. Yeah, all right, I got it.
It's funny how clearly the Empire is the Nazis.
I'm sure Lucas meant that when he started off.
I mean, down to like the uniforms and everything.
I mean,
the helmets of the stormtroopers. I mean,
hey, they can't shoot though.
That's
they
true,
can't shoot. I mean, all that blasting they can't broadside of a barn.
Yeah. Right.
What the hey? Come on, dudes.
I know.
Okay, we gotta get back to the range. Okay, we're gonna start from square one.
Yeah.
This is a gun.
Don't flinch.
Squeeze the trigger. Don't jerk it. We gotta go back to square one. So,
That's right. Yeah. I know they didn't have stocks on their guns.
Which it makes it extra hard to shoot. Speaking of that, well, this has a stock. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You still have to see the new Star Wars movie. You haven't seen it.
No, you guys lose me on Star Wars. I mean, I've seen most of them, I guess. But I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars. I don't know. It's odd. I can never get really connected. I've gone with you, and we've gone, and I almost fall asleep watching it. It's odd. I'm not sure what it is about that genre.
Yeah, I think it's a generational thing because. See,
well, even when I was younger, I went to see them, in the 70s. The first one was at 70s or 80s?
77.
70, yeah, because I remember my students, I was teaching then too, different incarnation of teaching, and my students, had seen it like 13 times and 18 times, and I thought, well, I need to see it once at least, and I liked it all right, but I just didn't. I failed to become as enamored with it as both. And to this day, I'm the same way. I can take it or leave it. I don't know why that is.
I think what it is. This is my theory, at least.
You're wearing a Star Wars shirt,
so it's not really just old man theory because I was the same way.
No. I'm not saying it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with your actual age in the sense of it's. What my theory is that. So it depends on what you grew up watching on TV, right? So you grew up watching Westerns, and there's people who are a little bit younger than you, and I think there was sci-fi on probably even when you were a kid. But
I wasn't crazy about some of the. I was a Rod Serling sci-fi. I love that kind of stuff.
But like the science fiction, like
Star Trek
stuff, came I think a little bit later. So that's more the people probably got into Star Wars. And for me, as a kid, I grew up with both. And of course, Star Wars was around when I was born.
Right,
so,
already around.
Different attitude now. Star Trek versus Kirk, 1960s versus Jean-Luc Picard, 1990s.
It's like the future versus a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the attitude, the 1960s Cold War attitude James T. Kirk had. Okay, as soon as anything happens, okay, arm phasers. Oh, we can't beat them. Okay, now let's negotiate.
That's right.
But in the 90s, with the new next generation Star Trek, it was all let's talk, let's hug it out. Let's talk things over. Kumbaya.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get Kirk up there. Come on, get the guns going. Come on.
Let's get on Facebook and work it out. Man.
What's weird is it's like it's like the 80s again. It's like almost seems like we're coming into another Cold War with all this Russia stuff, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
It ain't the same Russia back in the day.
No, definitely
no,
not.
no.
A lot of it's media driven.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
but it could be creative. The thing is, it could turn real. That's
true. Yeah,
see, that's what I'm worried about. Is while the media, can,
they create enough drama to where,
Is
other
it
countries.
kind of like what was that that nuclear power plant where there was actually nothing wrong, but they thought there was, and then they created
3 Mile Island.
3 Mile Island. You could almost have like a 3 Mile Island situation with the media where they kind of make something a big deal just for ratings and what fake news or whatever you want to call it, and then it becomes a real issue eventually because of that. And this Russia thing kind of. That's one thing that kind of scares me a little bit, like this whole like rigging the election thing and all this kind of stuff. Those are some pretty big claims to
well,
be making.
Apparently I watched some of the hearings yesterday, and they're saying CIA has evidence that there was they were messing with us.
The
they
actual
were messing
government?
with us. Yeah, they were messing in different ways, but and they won't even explain how they know it all. But you sort of have to trust.
Yeah,
CIA. They do know there is something there. But, not that it determined the election,
right.
but they were messing, and they mess in other countries too, and we probably do some of that, So that stuff goes on.
But it's the way it was sold to the people, though.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It made it like,
they were changing the numbers.
And that's fighting words, right?
Well, the media can actually turn us into antagonists, maybe.
Spanish American War.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. With the sinking of the Maine, we were minding our own business.
Yeah.
In Havana Harbor, not doing anything. Oh, shit blew up.
Yeah.
We got to go down there, by God, and, plant the flag. And then, we conquered Cuba?
Yeah.
We got the Philippines and Puerto Rico of it, though. Good trade. Good trade. Hey,
yeah.
So the media muddies the water lots of times. And since they're hard to trust, you need to trust them to some extent, but they're hard to trust, 100%.
Especially in this Facebook age.
Yeah.
You got to fact check. If you're responsible, you'll fact check.
Really?
Who has the time for that, though?
Yeah.
I mean, with Facebook, you don't know what's fake and what's real.
Yeah. Like the headline, people talk about people just make opinions based on headlines that they read.
Yeah.
That's easy to do. You read the headline, you're like, oh, what is it? But I try to at least be like, okay, I'm either going to choose to not care or be interested in that or actually look into it,
I mean, you got to be careful. Again, considering in this multimedia world we live in, you have to be careful because you just don't know.
And you have so many media sources, almost all of them now. They've got 24 hours to fill. If they're even on the internet, they've got to get clicks to stay viable and just to be meaningful at all. And so they're doing everything they can to get clicks. And then the TV news, whatever channel it is, cable, a network, or anything. Well, network's not on 24/7 necessarily, but they've got a lot of hours to fill.
Yeah.
And the nature of news is, or any show is, we need to get viewers and be dramatic, and we need to make things seem really important every minute of the day to keep people watching.
Even if it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so are there really 24 hours worth of extremely important things going on?
Yeah. And
well, they can make it important.
Yeah, and they can actually make, I think, viewers, mindless viewers, think that something's important that's not important at all, really.
Yeah, like the stories you see every so often about like a large number of birds or fish dying.
Yeah.
That's another one that the media just kind of every now and then they'll pop that one up.
Something else is going to kill you.
And if like I was watching something on YouTube and some scientist was talking about it, and it's like that happens. That's always happens. There are large numbers of birds and fish that die for various reasons, and it's like, you see that on the news. It's like birds and fish are dying. It's like, oh man, it's the first sign of the apocalypse.
And what about the children?
What
about the children? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah, like on Fox News, those stories about like, oh, this great honor student was kicked out of school for wearing an American flag T-shirt, or
the kid with the that made the clock that looked like a bomb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it looked like a bomb.
It did.
Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah, it did. Like a bomb to me.
I mean,
or it could have been.
And they were like, "Why are you giving the with Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Where are you giving the Dallas school system all this flack? Hey, it looked just like a bomb. I called the police. It didn't have anything to do with he was Arabic. It didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing at all.
It's like I know it was when the story first came out. You heard like, oh, this Arabic kid got kicked out of school for making a clock. They said it was a bomb.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go like, oh, that sounds like a little bit of racism. And then the picture gets leaked.
You're like, hey, that's a bomb.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the school system, which stood up for the teacher, thank God, and said, hey, what if we hadn't have done anything?
Yeah.
You'd be honest for not calling.
Oh, yeah, really.
So, what happened to the days of sure my age, Walter Cronkite? Okay, people at home, Google who he is. Walter, the guy, he sat there. There was no flash, no CGI. He sat there reading the news, and you saw behind him a bunch of guys on phones.
That's right. Making notes, handing them to him.
Like receiving telegraphs.
Here, Walter, say this. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's calling in from Bangladesh. Hey, this just happened.
Yeah.
The guy will scribble a note, hand it to him. But people trusted him. People say, oh, okay, hey, this guy's for real. This guy's authoritative.
Yeah. I think it'd be great if you had like 24-hour news where like there's just some guy sitting at a desk in different shifts. And when there's nothing to report, they just talk about just anything.
Yeah,
like here.
Yeah.
But there was you got news at 5 and 11 was 11. Whoa, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got news once or twice a day. That was it.
I know. And I was just thinking this week, in a way, it would be better almost if we could go back to that and have 30 minutes a day, like when I grew up. You grew up most. That was the news.
Yeah.
And even if it is slanted, if it's extremely conservative or extremely liberal, whatever it is, they're trying to make whatever they may have an agenda. And I guess they've always had an agenda. I just didn't realize it when I was younger. But if it's squeezed into 30 minutes, at least you're getting probably most of the stuff that's going on around the world. It might be newsworthy. You know, it might actually be newsworthy because they still have time to dramatize stuff to make it seem important, at least as much.
The station, again, showing the world that we live in now. The station was out of Columbus, Georgia. Don't remember the call sign, but I remember they had this guy in this plaid jacket. And a gold tie, and he's doing the weather. He's doing the weather, and the weather. He's drawing it. He's drawing a diagram of a chalkboard.
Here's Tennessee. Here are these clouds coming in.
And that's what he would do. He would draw a cloud. Okay, it's raining in Texas. He'd draw a cloud over Texas with lines coming out of the cloud. Rain over Texas. Okay, there's frost, and he'd draw a little snowflake here. And he says, and that's the weather.
There
and he'd throw the chalk up in the air and catch it. And then when I was a kid, it came back. If he caught it, it was going to rain the next day. If he missed it,
I remember that.
It was, and the weather radar was the old circular black and white screen.
Yeah.
Going around the circle.
I remember that.
If you saw a cloud, it's cloudy. If you didn't, it's sunny. That was and that was great.
We all got by just fine with that information.
Yeah. I know, and part of the 24-hour news is it makes you feel like 24 hours you have to be concerned about it. Where if it was like 30 minutes, like, okay, I've worried about the goings on in the world now, I'll just go on with my day.
Well, and you and I have talked about this through the years too. The thing is, those people that are on CNN or Fox or any of the channels, they are practiced and trained, and they are not hired unless they can make things that are meaningless seem meaningful, and it's like we talked about, like if you're a preacher, evangelist or something, you're the inflection and how you say things. That's your job to make things to get the point across as best you can, and to make people think this is real, or it's not real or whatever. To be convincing is what I'm trying to say. To be convincing, whether you're preaching or you're delivering the news or whatever, the inflection, the way you speak. And I don't know, I've never been good at that, but I've always been a little bit of a student of it, and I enjoy watching people, listening to people who are really good at that. And I used to talk about that in classes sometimes, whether it's a commercial, someone's trying to sell you something, or it's the news, which they are trying to sell you something. What they're trying to sell you, even if it's real news, they're trying to sell you the fact that this is really important, and you need to be hanging on every word I say.
It's like on a scientific level almost the way they
like
deliver
they're naming.
They're just masters at it. They're really pros.
Like naming the storms, the winter storms.
Yeah. Or just the way they say something about. I mean, I just notice it all the time.
Yeah. When they report the news, they don't just say like, "All right, so today we had this happen." You know, they're like, "Today in Russia we have." I can't even do it, but there's like all these different ups and downs in their voice.
To increase the drama.
Yeah, or they're quoting about what the senator has been talking about, or there's news of a possible scandal developing, whatever it might be. Yeah. They are expert at making it sound really important, like something you should be worried about.
I'll tell you something else too. I watched this YouTube video on it. It's very interesting. Guys that are listening, go and flip through different news channels. I guess 24 hours, so you know that it's on. And you'll notice this in the background of almost every news show that you watch. There will be some type of graphic that is moving at a certain speed, and it's kind of like a steady, slow speed. And you'll notice it's about the same speed on every channel. If you go through the different channels, it'll be probably exactly the same, or at least similar, same speed, similar type of graphic. And it's a form of hypnotism, and it makes you more likely to believe what they're saying. Yeah. And it's real. It's a real thing. It's not a conspiracy theory. The ticker, I don't know if that's part of it, but and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a real thing. You can go and look it up. You can go watch it and see they all do it. And
probably
even some independent news does it. Alex Jones, he does it.
I'm gonna keep expecting to put on a pair of glasses and it says "Watch me." So
their job is to influence you and to keep you watching. Whatever else happens to keep
your objective, but they're not.
No, of course not.
No, and I always compare, like what I was talking about earlier, us sitting around a room talking, kind of like we are now. Yeah, it's just dramatically different from the way they discuss. Even if there's a couple of them on there and they're discussing some events,
like a panel.
It's always it's crucial. Everything is crucial. Whereas to us, it's not. We're just more relaxed. About it.
Well, they tell you that there was a fire, 15 people burned to death, but they don't tell you where.
You
have to tell. Well, if it was in eastern Pakistan.
Yeah.
I
love this too. Is they'll be like, "There's a common lunchroom item that's causing kids to have seizures." After these messages,
that's right.
It's so important.
You're afraid to turn away. Well, what if it is my kid's? I know it's not, but what if it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's so important. You'd think that they'd tell you right away when they found out.
Well, I saw something like that. One of those hurricanes hit southern Florida, and again, lots of drama from the news sources. And this guy was out there buying plywood, and he said, "You know what? This is silly me to do all this. Nothing's probably going to happen, but I got to take care of my family." He felt like he was obligated to go out there and prepare, even though nothing's going to happen. I know that, but it was on the news. I have to go.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh, I love the news when there's a hurricane coming. Oh, if you really want to be a hero and you're a weather person, you got to be out there standing on the beach. The wind blowing. What's funny? This last one, I think, that hit Florida. There were 2 or 3 different times watching. Somebody's out there and the ocean's in the background and it's getting rougher and wind's blowing. And they're acting like they're about to be blown away and the whole world's about to be blown. There'd be some people walking behind them, strolling along.
What do they bring? They bring like a big fan out there to make it work.
He's hanging on to a palm tree.
Oh man!
So it's commercialism.
Anything. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's a weird. There's no easy fix for it because it's like you gotta. For them to be able to afford to give you this information that you want or this entertainment that you want,
you have to watch.
They have to be getting paid somehow.
Which I've heard that the news agencies have fired back saying, yes, do we sensationalize? Possibly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we do thoughtful, meaningful stories, you say we're boring.
That's right. That's right.
We're boring.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we're honest about how, this isn't all that important, but down in Columbia, Tennessee today, they got to make it like it's very, very important.
And here's the reality of it. They probably realize that while, yes, there's a certain section of the population that sees through this BS, but that's a smaller percentage.
Unfortunately.
A lot of people are, oh, really? It's that important? Their eyes are hanging out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think and that's qualified by the fact that we see some of these reality shows.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name them because I don't want anybody to get upset. But some of these reality shows that people think are real.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, dude. Relax. Come on.
Yeah, there's not much real. Yeah, we've talked with people who've been in
like
those.
Pawn Stars is all fake and set up. And,
What? People don't come in there with these ancient heirlooms?
yeah.
I got Lincoln's hairbrush.
Which I will say Pawn Stars is, even though you know it's fake, it's still interesting. I wish they would like cool it on all like the banter, the fake banter between the employees and stuff. Like, okay, we get it, but some of the stuff they bring in is kind of interesting. You learn stuff about it.
It's
So I've caught them before on guns. I can't remember anything specific where they've been just dead wrong on something about. They had this expert come in and it's not even right.
Hey, do they have an expert on standby? I mean, they bring this obscure piece of equipment and then we have an expert right in the back. Get him out here. And,
yeah, really.
Well, that's the thing about the reality. It's all scripted and they know what they're going to be doing.
We're
going to have a guy bring in this, that'll be a good show, and then we'll get so-and-so to verify it and authenticate it. And so they know what's going on.
Yeah.
But
it's fun to see someone though just like decimated. They bring in something and they're like, I'm trying to get 60,000 out of this, and he's like, that's worth about 600.
Maybe. I'm being generous.
Because it's like we've all been in that situation before, and there's something a little bit fun about like. Sorry.
Got this intense family heirloom that's been passed down through 7 generations, but I'll sell it for if you give me enough money.
Yeah, and that's always how that stuff is, it seems like. There's so many times where I found something, in storage or whatever, like, oh, man, I bet this is worth something now. You look it up, nope.
Yep, worth $2.
Kind of like the genealogy thing. You're always related to some famous guy.
Yeah, that's right.
It's never a Joe the Wino that was outside of D.C. and
That's right.
it's 1842. It's never that guy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like always some king or queen.
Thomas Jefferson's third cut. Yeah, whatever. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep. Like I was, I don't know, it was a few months ago. I got a storage unit. I tell my wife, I call it my hoarder's license. So it's like I'm not cluttering up the house. I can just have stuff I'm not sure if I want to throw away yet or not. And but I was just going through some stuff, and I had this giant plastic bin of like old stuffed animals I had when I was a kid, And there were some Beanie Babies in there because I was part of that generation.
Beanie Babies.
Yeah, and I remember thinking like, oh, some of these. I think my wife mentioned something about how some of them are actually still valuable. There's a few like everyone thought they were going to be valuable, and they weren't. But there's still like a handful of them that are really valuable. And I remember we sat and like looked through them. And of course, none of them.
Let's research the internet.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that stuff, when you're really young, I think we never quite fully get over when we're 10 years old or 8 years old. And I don't know, maybe it's a coin or something like that. And someone said, yeah, that's kind of collectible. I'll throw it. Yeah, I found out that was worth, $17, when, back in 1980 or 1960 or something. And you go, wow, yeah, I got to remember that. Yeah. I don't know, we never quite get over maybe the possibility we have some coin. Oh, that date, look at that, 1937. Oh, that might be worth real money. I better hang on. And you check it out. Yeah, it's worth something. It's worth $7.80.
Not what you think. Yeah,
it's not what it's just not a lot of money.
A lot of times the emotional value is more than what's worth. Like my old man, I got some invasion money from Normandy in 1944.
Oh, that's cool.
Some guy said, "Yeah, I'll buy from you." Nope.
Yeah, no, that is valuable.
I'm going to hold on to that.
Oh, that is.
The emotional value is worth more than anything.
Yeah, especially he brought it back himself, right?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, the sentimental value is worth a whole lot more.
I'll keep that, dude.
It's irrelevant what the monetary value is.
Well, it's like his dad, my grandfather, left me a banjo, and it's a Gibson Mastertone from 1950, which people who know, banjos are just musical instruments in general. I mean, 1950 is old enough to where almost any musical instrument from 1950 is worth some money. It's probably worth like $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, probably so.
At least three.
Like an original Fender Strat.
Oh yeah, those are worth a lot.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah. But it's like, again, the sentimental value
some things go beyond money. I mean,
it's irrelevant what they're worth.
Right.
I keep all my guns on a spreadsheet, and I don't update the value, but I have kind of relative figure I put in there. And like on the firearms from Dad, what I don't think I even have a value because it doesn't matter what they're worth.
Exactly.
Exactly. I sell them, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Guns. Well, with collectible and valuable things in general, typically what makes it valuable is, well, of course, you have to have demand, but on top of demand, a small number of them, and then also no one knew it was going to be collectible.
Yeah.
You know, so that's always the thing. It's always something you never would have expected.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the things you say, well, I'm going to save this and save all this junk, you know, for later it'll be more valuable. It almost never is.
Yeah, exactly.
But you never know what people are going to find valuable 20 years from now. You know.
That's
right. Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I remember it's not like you'd be rich or something if you'd done it, but I remember when the Mosins were hitting and like gun shops were just full of crates of them.
Okay.
I remember telling Dad, be like, you ought to buy because it was like 10 in a crate. So it'd be like $1,000. You could probably get a deal on it. I remember telling you, like, you should buy a crate of those because, you know, they'll be worth more down the road, which if you had done that, that's kind of a hassle. And where are you going to keep them?
Where are you going to store them? Take care of them. And then whoop-de-doo, you made $1,000. That was 10 years.
If you had done that, you probably could make about $1,500 or $2,000.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, that was how long ago was that? That was like how many years? That was like 5 or 6 years ago. You know, whatever. But still, and you never know. That might not have happened. You know, so. Yeah,
I saw years ago, back in the last century. I love saying that. Back in the last century, when I was when even a teenager, this guy had a original World War II M1 Garand from 1941, and he was selling it for $210.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, $210.
That's right.
If I only knew.
Now they're 1,000, I guess.
Yeah, for a good
an original World War II Garand, and he only wanted $200 for it.
Yeah.
I probably could have talked him down to $150.
Yeah, the good ones start like $1,000.
I mean, oh my God. Give me a time. That's one time I would get that time machine we talked about. Go
That's
back.
right,
Go back. Okay, dude. Yeah. Here's your money. Here, give it to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some gambling first.
I got some quick investing. There's this guy out in Washington called what's his name? Jobs. Yeah. Quick investment. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Invest in that Apple company.
Some guy in the garage.
Fruit company. Yeah, that's right. That's what he said. What was that, Forrest Gump? Yeah, he's like invest in some fruit.
Was it Yahoo, wasn't it, or was that Apple?
Apple.
Yeah. Now I don't have to worry about money anymore.
Lieutenant Dan called me and said he got some money from this fruit company.
That's right.
That's one less thing.
One less thing to worry about.
I'll tell you, they hit the nail on the head with and there was that was Tropic Thunder. It was an okay movie, but it had one of the greatest, I think, comedy scenes ever in it. When they're talking about you never go full retard, and it's a bunch of actors. So it's a movie about these actors that are supposed to be doing this Vietnam movie.
Yeah,
and they're out there like, whether the producer or whatever is tired of them being like whiny babies, so you like makes them go out there in the jungle.
Yeah.
And at one point, one of them is talking about how like it's because one of the actors played a mentally challenged person in a movie.
Ben Stiller.
Right, and he is talking about. Sybil Jack, yeah.
And I haven't seen that.
It's a fake movie. It's not a real movie. It's a movie in the movie.
It's a movie about a movie.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Tropic Thunder.
Oh, okay.
I know. I haven't seen any of it. I haven't even seen the real movie, much less the fake movie within the real movie.
But, so anyways, the actor has explained to him, he's like telling him that he screwed up on that because like you never go full retard. You know? And then he's like, he's like talking about like Forrest Gump. He was dumb, but he was like, a war hero and could play table tennis. And he gave these other different examples of characters that went like, Sling Blade. He he could fix small engines, and all this stuff. And
I love Sling Blade.
But it was so funny because it was like so incredibly true, and it was something that like myself included, a lot of people I don't think had really thought about. And with Forrest Gump, he was so perfectly dumb. He was just dumb enough in that movie to be hilarious.
Right.
But not so dumb to where you're just like,
oh yeah,
what's this guy doing? I mean,
yeah.
But no, best character from Tropic Thunder was it Robert Downey?
Yeah, where he was playing a black guy.
He was the dude. I'm the dude playing the dude playing a dude. He says, "I don't come out of character until the end of credits monologue."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but great. I mean, great movie. You have to have a little background. If you just looking at it without no history of these actors, you're like, what?
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, you never go full retard in a movie. So.
Yeah, never go full I'll remember that. I'll remember that. Make a note.
Yeah.
Hey, I do it every video. So. I get pretty close.
Yeah. Oh man, is the live stream still going?
Live stream still going. People are asking if they could ask some questions.
Yeah, you want
maybe I'll take a couple.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, guys, go ahead and start asking your questions again because you started asking them unsolicited so long ago. So there was one, and it was about toilet paper, if you guys want to hear about that.
Okay.
So somebody asked a while back on the last live stream if you guys fold your toilet paper or you crumble it up.
Definitely crumble.
I'm a crumble guy.
Definitely crumble.
I will dignify with an answer.
That's the only one that I remember.
It's a technique, though. Oh, come on now.
I feel like that was like a good lesson in what the internet is.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
We said about dudes in basements.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a guy sitting in his basement in his underwear eating a pizza. He's dribbling cheese on the keyboard.
He saw that video of you shooting the Uzi on the bicycle. It's like, I wonder how he does his toilet paper.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
God.
Wow.
Oh man, that's crazy how widespread that clip has been. When we had the idea to do that, to go out and film a bunch of the drive-by things with that Uzi. And I had to say, I knew that the bicycle one was special though. I had to say, like when we did that.
I thought it'd be cool if we could do it, but I didn't know. I don't. You never know.
I didn't know it was going to be like that, but I knew that would be people's favorites probably.
Yeah.
Of that. Well, and the tractor one was cool.
Yeah, the tractor is actually more fun than the bicycle. The bicycle is difficult to handle. Like now that thing is light compared to the real Uzi, the full size Uzi. To handle the bike on semi-rough ground, not on the road. And be able to handle that. Because as I've told people, the Uzi actually caused the bicycle to veer to the left.
Yeah, like shooting a minigun in a helicopter.
Yeah, it really did as it was happening. It didn't try to push me over. Yeah. It just, the bike, it'd be like if you're just riding a bicycle and all of a sudden it's going that way. Yeah. It was really weird. But I knew it'd run out before it went too far.
We got any questions now coming in?
Yeah. Here's one. Somebody's asking John and Derrick if they'd like to try Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation. Would you guys? They were asking a lot of questions until I said the floor is open, and then they stopped.
Oh man, they choked under pressure.
Man. Metal Gear.
I never played that.
Never played that one. Yeah. Call of Duty, man. Hey, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not about monsters or Call of Duty.
Yeah.
All about shooting bad guys.
Yeah, which that's something that people have been wanting to see. If you got time to hang around, we'll have to. You have to try Battlefield 1. We'll do like a video.
I've heard.
It's pretty great.
I've heard. World War One, right?
Yeah, World War One. I showed it to you before.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's amazing. Of course, the detail on the guns is incredible.
Yeah.
Like you get down the dirt and mud gets on the gun and everything, and the reloading. One thing that impresses me is on a lot of old guns is old games is when you reload. Like let's say you have a bolt action or something like that. If you fire like 2 shots, let's say it's a 5-round magazine, you fire 2 shots, and then you hit reload in the game, it'll put like a whole clip back in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like there's one reload, animation basically. But on this game, if you fire like 2 shots or 3 shots, literally the guy like pops 2 or 3 more bullets in there.
Really?
Oh
yeah.
Man.
So it actually. And like on the shotgun, same thing. You fire a couple of shells, he puts 2 more shells back in there.
Pretty sophisticated.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's really amazing. The one thing, let's see. Yeah, I think even on the handguns, of course, the magazine, he goes ahead and changes that. But I think on one of the single action handguns, I think even you fire a couple and then you put a couple more in.
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing that
realism. Okay.
Where these games are going, and I think the video games are kind of like to an extent a young person's thing mostly. Yeah. But I have this theory that that's going to change as soon as VR becomes more realistic and easier to use. And I think this is my theory. I think it's going to be like computers. When computers first came around, it was something that took up like a whole room, and it was only it wasn't in everyone's home. It was only something.
It was just people interested in technology.
Yeah.
It wasn't everybody. I couldn't get Dad to be interested in it, or your grandparents.
Right.
Until it got easier,
Yeah.
and then they saw the value in email. They could stay in touch with family in other states easily. And that kind
I think VR is already in the home. There's already like a home version of it that's fairly affordable that you can buy.
Yeah.
See, I think this is just a kind of a theory, and it very easily could be totally wrong. But I think that it's actually going to go away from the home, and VR is going to get a lot better and a lot more involved. But it's going to be the kind of thing that you like go to like an arcade.
Like the holodeck.
Yeah, because as soon as someone figures out a way to have like a really, really good VR system at whatever the cost, it's going to be so good that people would rather probably just go to a place and use it than use their like cheap version at home.
If it's goes as far as we think, you're not gonna be able to have it in your house. You're gonna have to go to a building where it's like, hey, we're really sitting here.
Yeah, I mean,
like early video games. The arcade. You had to go to the arcade to play a video game, a good video game in the early days.
I think it'll go back to that.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be if you could play like virtual paintball, kind of where it's like you go into this giant like warehouse, and they could even have like actual real physical barriers set up in there, and kind of like a marriage between like the game and actual reality and things you can touch, and you have like guns at least that you can hold, and maybe they feel like they recoil.
You guys ever been to that place south of Nashville called Quick Draw? It's a lot of police and other people go to train there. It's got actual weapons. You can hold rifles and handguns, big screen, and put you in different scenarios. And then it's a gunshot. That's pretty good. Seconds. It's
in a
type building?
Okay.
And and it has like 4 different studios, and they have like 10, 12 programs they can run you through. Woodland, urban, hostage, SWAT, and again, no shoot situations. You're on a team, virtual a video team, and you can play. 2 people can play at once. And you go in there, and if you're going down the hallway, I remember this one. You're going down the hallway in a building. There's a shooter down there somewhere, and you're going down the hallway. The tension builds up because you're sitting there and you're advancing down the hallway, and then someone runs out from one door to another one. If you shoot her, you're done because you just killed a civilian. And then one guy came out of the roof, and that's when I got off that was 4 rounds in 3 seconds, all hits, and it registers your hits too.
Okay, is it the kind that has like the air compressor guns?
So you get to feel a recoil and all that too.
Remember we shot some of those at like NRA conventions?
Yeah, we did.
Stuff like that. That's really cool.
Good training.
It is. That is.
It's, of course, no substitute for the real thing, but it's still like you're looking at a screen, but the gun feels real and everything.
And plus the decision making.
Bank robbery too. The bank robbery scenario was good. There's 2 guys robbing the bank. Civilians everywhere. You have to talk to your partner. Hey, take the guy in the hat. I got the guy in the hoodie. As soon as he clears that door, we'll let him have it if he draws a weapon toward you.
Yeah.
And does he have a weapon, or is it a remote control?
Right.
You just fire on somebody who was unarmed. Oh my God.
That's right.
Yeah, those are good because that's the.
It's great training.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's the toughest part of police work. Is,
shoot, no shoot.
Yeah. Any other questions back there?
Favorite World War II submachine gun.
What do you think, Dad?
Favorite World War II submachine gun? Probably the Thompson.
Yeah,
right.
That's mine too. Yeah.
Grease gun close second, but Thompson.
Grease gun.
Yeah. The MP40 was really cool.
Yeah, the MP40 was cool. I have to say.
Yeah, that's a neat gun. It's heavy, but it's just like you can just lay those rounds in there wherever you want.
But very controllable. Yeah, very controllable.
Any other ones?
Let me look around. You guys talk amongst yourselves. There was some ones I don't want to say.
Yeah. Just interrupt us and ask. If
you
it's
guys are having a good conversation. So I don't want
you see Hacksaw Ridge?
No, not yet. I've heard it's really good.
Grease gun. The good.
Grease gun action
there. What's his name? Him again. The guy. He's
Spider-Man.
One of the main characters uses a grease gun very effectively. 45 caliber, close in.
Yeah,
really?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's right. We were going to see that. That thing will be on DVD for long, probably. That's been. Was it still in the theater?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to see that.
Yeah,
maybe on the road. See?
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
Oh, it is very good. Very good.
One thing about the grease gun that I never understood, and I haven't shot one enough to know, but so like the whole idea was they made that thing as cheap as possible.
Yes, it was cheaper than a Thompson.
Right, and you can just tell by looking at it. So the way that thing operates is the dust cover is basically your safety.
Yeah.
Essentially is how it works, and your bolt handle is literally a cutout in the bolt, so you gotta like stick your finger in the bolt and pull it back.
Yeah.
So the thing I don't understand is like that thing get hot. I mean, I know it's a big piece of metal, but that bolt's got to get hot, and how are you gonna pull the bolt back when you've been firing that thing?
I think it's meant to wear. You're going to have to wear gloves to handle it, especially after extended firing. Yeah.
Huh, I guess so. Seems like a bad design. Like, could have killed him, just put a little bit of a knob or something.
Yeah, really.
On there.
Really.
And that costs more money, okay?
Yeah.
Try to save money here, all right?
Man. Didn't I shoot one of those? Didn't we shoot one somewhere?
Yeah, the Lucky Gunner
Lucky
machine
Gunner.
gun shoot. It's
Yeah.
the one that shot really slow. It's like
Very
a
slow rate of fire. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It's so
fast.
slow, you almost want semi-automatic so you can speed it up with your finger. You know?
Yeah.
Not slow.
I remember that. Yeah. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good God.
Well, what's the movie, the World War II movie that take all the ex-convicts and
The Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen? They have grease guns in there, but they shoot fast for some reason.
Well,
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood. Hollywood.
Blanks are like that. Yeah.
But I found out the Dirty Dozen really existed.
Really?
It was actually the Filthy 13. They were part of the 101st Airborne Division. They were a Pathfinder unit. They went in before everybody else, set up the LZs. They were very, what's the word I'm looking for? Wild, rough on the edges, because they went in, they took 50, 60, 70% casualties every time they went in. So they feel like, well, I don't need to do what these guys are saying when we're going to get knocked off anyway.
Yeah.
So, but they were effective.
Wow.
In the Army, you can buck the system as long as you're effective. And that's what they were. They were very effective, got the job done, took the most dangerous missions, and the Dirty Dozen was based off them. I could not believe it.
So were they ex-cons or?
No. They were just guys.
They were just guys.
Yeah, draftees. Hey, we're gonna get extra money. Tough mission. The trade-off is the discipline kind of is back. They back off on the discipline.
Yeah.
Give you a lot of freedom to do what you want as far as uniform, weapons, all that. But you're taking the most dangerous jobs.
Yeah, you kind of do what you want. You'll probably get killed.
Yeah.
But you do what you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. So while you're back here, okay, hey, we don't care if your hair ain't combed straight or if your hair ain't cut.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess we'll probably wrap it up.
Did we act too much, probably?
Is there any other questions before we wrap it up?
Here's one from Johnny B that I don't understand, so maybe you guys will. Will we see a CZ Scorpion SBR review?
Oh yeah, the new Scorpion.
Yeah, well, maybe
At some point, probably not an SBR.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
But yeah, at some point.
Never
I know
know.
those are really popular. People like those. The new CZ.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, they're interesting. But all right, well, hey, this was fun.
Hey,
the live stream was somewhat successful. We had
2 segments, right?
Yeah, well, it cut out at one point. Sorry about that.
Yeah, they're aware of it, but
they'll just hear us like occasionally commenting about the live stream.
That's right.
But I may try some different programs and stuff, but I'm gonna try to do this, because I think I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comments if you like it.
You just had like an old school intermission, between
right,
the 2 segments. Yeah. Go out and smoke. All right, go have candy bar. All right, we'll go back in second part.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Well,
Yeah, I enjoy talking with these people live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We're alive. They're alive, so we might as well talk to each other. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for bopping in.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that's on the live stream right now and everybody checking out the show. And thanks, Derek, for coming out here.
Happy to be here.
Braving.
Yes. I had to wait around.
Yeah.
I don't get to do that too often.
Braving the snow.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, good.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys later.
Out.
Bye-bye. Okay.
All right.